Hi, how are you? How are you doing for the long day? Yes, I'm happy to see you that you're still alive without this, quite a big heat that we have inside the building. I am delighted to see you all. And this is going to be a presentation that is going to be enough short, so I will just tell you only a few interesting things, but I'm quite open for discussion later. So if you have questions, be ready that we are going to talk about it later if you're just going to need it. Few things about me. Yeah, that's me. I am from Reverist, currently working in Ireland, doing magic things. You're going to hear about us more definitely. And why you should even be here and listen to me. Let's say I have been quite lucky in my past, and I was a part of quite a great team like Techlands, Project Red, Wargaming, currently Reverist. And I was able to work on such projects like Call of Juarez, Dying Light 1, and also Cyberpunk 2077. And yes, I am proud of it, and I'm quite ready to say it loud. But also, this kind of different kind of projects and different kind of spots when I was working give me bigger experience and knowledge to create and talk about today the subject and doing this kind of lecture, because I was working on different kind of stuff and I was working with different kind of teams. Additionally, before everything that happened here, for almost 10 years I was an architect. And I was working as architect and I was never think about working in the game dev. So I make a big jump into a completely different industry. And now I am doing like another jump, working with the Reverist and working much more on the movies. So, it's quite good to try new things. And we're also going to be talk about that subject. Yeah? For who is this presentation? Well, if you feel in any case amount of technology is what is around you and you're not sure what to do with this is a good spot for you. But also if you're just thinking about slightly change your job and you're working in the industry for a while, but you're not sure that you should even make this kind of decision, we are going to also talk about this and explain why it's quite a good moment to think about that. And if you are just starting your, adventure with a game dev, and you're not sure what exactly you wanted to do, who you wanted to be, and on what kind of project you wanted to work, and you feel pressure that you have to choose this right away, we will talk about this, why you shouldn't feel any pressure, and it's quite cool to make some decision. If you all in between kind of jobs, different kind of titles, different kind of projects, and you still feel that something blocking you, yeah, let's talk about this. And the most, because of the amount of technology that we have around us and knowledge and amazing, great, experienced people, if you also feel unexperienced, that you not ready to do something and not try to new things and simply block you, definitely want to push the subject more. At the end, I'm going to talk about the big things like feeling that we could lose time, try any things, and work on a different kind of software, and the feeling that if we try something and we fail, that will be lost completely time and nobody want to fail. And we need to work on the subject. So today's prelection will be changed slightly your mindset, and I hope help you to feel not threat of the number of the technological stuff, new software, and all the things that happen around us. So because I wanted to give you like base of those information, we're going to slightly talk about the pop culture in the subject of the technology and how the things work with each other and why this is such a big issue currently. We also going to slightly talk about personal development, but this is not only about self-development. There's so many lectures about the subject. It is much more how to use current situation that we have in the world and upgrade ourselves, and how to do it quite flexible and be ready for the changes, and how to work with the imposter syndrome and just don't block yourself, and don't fear, guys, don't fear that you lose any time trying the new things. So let's start. And quick things, when I'm talking about designer, I'm thinking about every person who is in the process of designing. So this could be a concept artist, it could be artist 3D, this could be a level designer, quest designer. Every person which is a part of design is, for me, the designer, and this person could get quite a good information, knowledge in this speech, so this is for you guys. And yeah, the big thing, the big elephant or the blob in the room, it is the subject and the number of the things that happen around us, like this old technological software mess. It's absolutely understandable that we are feel overwhelmed. We hear every month about the new upgrade of existing software or completely new software that probably is going to change everything. Or we hear that software that we use, it's not going to be used anymore because there's much more. So in every corner, there's a lot of information, and we slightly feel that it's hard to choose or make any reaction to the subject. So if you just start to count the number of the things that happen in the industry, there's not like 10 or 20, there's more than 100 things that are used for the game design. Just talking for the things for the painting or 3D design and the software for animation, all these kind of things are useful and are used and are good, and it's amazing to know all of those, but simply we don't have so much time in our life to do it. So it's hard to choose and hard to feel that you always will be not full in the subject. So the feeling of the loss is something completely normal, and I wanted to say this loud because many people feel that only they have this kind of problem and they issue, and other people who get quite a good position and work well, and we see they are absolutely amazing, they don't have this kind of feeling, just we are. But mostly, 99%, feeling loss is something completely natural, because when you don't have control of the situation that happens around you, you feel that you're vulnerable. And when you cannot control what's happening around us and technological things, we feel lost. And it's completely easy to feel that we are not catching up and we are not reading enough documentation, and people talk about the things that just happened and we don't hear it before. So yeah, that could be completely overwhelmed and create the feeling that we are in the threat, even though if we try to follow up, but still it's not enough. So this idea that technology as a thing give us one option to move or die, learn and change, or you'll be crushed. There is this kind of feeling. We have this kind of information. We go to the people. We wanted to work on the projects, and they tell us, if you wanted to work with us, you have to know this kind of software and this kind of software and another. And you don't know, because you cannot know everything. Every company have a different kind of vibe. So you feel if you're not going to follow into this kind of speed, you're simply going to be crushed. And yeah, that's that situation that you could win. And it's quite horrible. So when you think about this in this way, it's like a one big threat, and you cannot do any more with that, like just, deal with it. Yeah, it's happened. But when you start to think about those stuff in the big picture, and you start to be aware that we are living not only in the pop culture, in the aspect of the life and arts that is around us, but also technology is a big part of the pop culture, or maybe it's more like it's effect about the pop culture, and it's not something separate from other things. If we start to see this kind of connection that this pop lab pop cultural laboratories, like connection pipe that interact with each other and create this kind of mutual influence, that the games push the visual language that start to be visible in the movie, that technology that was designed just for the movie start to be used in the games, that things that was designed only for the games start to be used for TV shows like Dancing Monsters. And we start to see like all these kind of things work with each other, and like one big organism go in the one movement. It's not stop, and we see how all the kind of things interact with each other. If we use this knowledge wise, we are not going to be so overwhelmed. So even if we don't want to talk about this situation, how they interact with each other, we don't want to see it, and we don't want to hear it like, oh gosh, this amazing movie was great, and we have to do a game exactly with this kind of vibe. And you say, no, we are not mixing the things. No, guys, this happened. This is pop lab, this is pop culture, things mix with each other. This is why we took inspiration, this is why someone took inspiration for our work. It's just happened, and it's a fact. So it's not a problem. This could be something amazing. As you see with this basic picture that I want to just grab your attention and make like input in your mind, that designer, as a we, are pushed from the different kind of direction, different kind of industries, and different kind of softwares, and we have to change because we feel this kind of interaction and pushing from different direction. And it's quite impossible to separate yourself and say that you're not going to play with the other children. You just want to do your stuff, and you don't want to change your technology because you don't see the reason. If something happened in another game or in another production, or something happened in the movie, we simply feel this pressure to move and interact and design something better. Sometimes even players wanted to see things that they see before in the movie, wanted to see in the games. So we have additional pressure from them. This is from every direction. And this happened. We are living in this one environment that everything work with each other and push each other with a different direction. The biggest one that we see in the games is like impact that the games make into the movies and the strong impact that the movies make in the games. A few years ago, many people want to still keep those things separate, but it's simply impossible. And because all of those stuff push each other through, create a different kind of technology that support those ideas, or create a different kind of visual language, we have to check and see and look and be aware of those changes, and don't put yourself in the box where you don't want to see any changes and see any new things. You just want to do your part. Just be open. Keep your mind. So what to do with this kind of situation? We could feel that everything here is a threat, or we could start to think about this multiverse of technology and industry put in the pop lab as an option for completely new possibilities for us as designers. It is much easier to think about something that they give you advantages than just thinking that something will kill you. So let's just assume that we are going to think about this in the positive way. And there's a few things that are amazing, and there wasn't work like this 10 years ago. So because technologies and industry work with each other in this kind of pop culture environment, they many times overlap each other. And this is slightly main reason why I'm here. I was studying and doing architecture because architecture was needed in the game. I was transferred in the game. And because I have knowledge after working in the game about the CGI and engine, I start to work on the movies. So I use the spot where it's overlapping stuff and just use technology and the current situation for my advantages. So let's talk about slightly more. There's like hundreds of things that connect different kind of industry. Movies, games, commercials, we could spend like a few hours just talking about example, but let's talk about the things that currently interesting in me the most is like subject of motion captures, studio, and the things that could be used. And we know quite exactly that currently not only the games, but also the movies and the TV shows start to use this kind of technology like face capture, motion capture, all these kind of things with a different way, but still this is the same software. So if we live in this environment, how we can use it for us as a designer? So let's think about this. Let's try to break this idea into small because one technology was to use in different kind of industries that are connect with each other because of the pop culture. This gives us the option to jump between this kind of industry with this kind of knowledge and a completely different way working with the same kind of software, because the same kind of software is differently used for the games, for the movies, for the TV shows. We could upgrade our knowledge and experience quite easily, just transferred ourselves in the spot that connect with each other. And this is only one example, and we have much more with this. So the size and number of the technology that happen around us is not a threat. It's like windows of new opportunities. And because we are talking about the big picture, like what's happened when we have big industry and big things that overlap each other, and how this could impact us if we know one software. There's a questions what we can do with each other when we work in the chain of production, and there's so many different kind of software and knowledge around us, and how we can use this kind of situation. So we are going to talk about this also because if we change our mindset, we could quite nice upgrade our teamwork with the others on some kind of new amazing projects. So let's jump into it. So basically, when we start and we are doing our stuff, for example, we are concept artists, this is like I start, we get quite a lot of new information from every spot before we start any task, like things how to do, what kind of restriction, what kind of rules. And because there's like only a list of things that we have to follow, we often feel this like a borders and like cutting our creativities because we feel slightly imprisoned here. After this, someone come and say that things cannot be done, but there's some technical issues and we have to do a complete redo. And in this situation, we are put ourselves in the moment of completely frustration and we are burning ourselves quite quickly. This is when we do not want to work with the subject of technology that are around us. Not only around us as an aspect of the one game industry, but around us as our job positions. So when we start to look, when we are as a, for example, a concept artist who is a part of big change, we are not designer just for the design, we are doing something bigger. There's a lot of people before us and there's a lot of people that are going to work on the top of our work. So when we start to understand what the reasons are that we are get information and the rules for our work, we start to understand as a concept artist what kind of rules is a game in a gameplay, what means that storyboarding, how we have to work with the visual Bibles, and etc. We start to understand the reason why we are designing and why we are doing our work. So this is something quite amazing. I was quite lucky to work in my past in the team when guys from the level design and quest design, when I was concept artist, explained me the reason how the things have to be designed one way, not another. And when I have this knowledge, I was able to work much better for them. And I feel much sure of my work. But after when I do some kind of concept, I see that not everything was put in the same way in the engine, and I also wanted to understand that. So it was great to start to learn 3D design, 3D modeling, just only to know what kind of restriction you have with the polygons and the size. Because when I have this kind of knowledge of technical stuff that happened after my work, I was able to design my stuff much better with the understanding that someone was not going to have a problem with this. So when I start to understand restriction and the problem in the engine, and I start to work in the engine, I also benefit from this and get design my stuff much better. So I saw this example many ways, in a different way. I talk with the guys who work only with the Eleven design and never work with the concept artists. And when we start to share the knowledge and the software and information and restriction of our work, we not only find like better language for communication, but we simply start to understanding the limitation and make the whole design much better. So think about the software not only happen and around a big world, but also quite close to each other. And here, short notes. This is not a presentation about the self-improvement, but when we talk about the software and how to not be crushed with the multiverse of technology, there is also a place to talk about how we can use this for our self-improvement. And one thing of this is going to be subject of be flexible in this design part. So flexibility, it was something that was stuck in with you guys before. If you start to have work with a team in a chain production, and because you wanted to upgrade your part of work, and you start to understand the things that happen around you, like the software, like the process, like the planning, like the pipeline, and you simply learn some of those things, even on basic level. You start to be able to adapt much better to the environment that you work in. And you're definitely adapt much better for the whole industry and this whole speed that happen around you. So it's good to think in this subject. It's good to not separate yourself from this. So try those stuff. Don't be scared that not all is going to be used, because we are going to talk about this later, that every time that you invest in yourself, upgrade yourself. So just have this in your mind. So when you have those kind of skills, even on the basic level, and you're in the team, you're able to get like professional advance to adjust to the others. You are able to talk with others to understand the subject, find a solution that are exactly connection between those. So you start to be much better version of yourself and just upgrade yourself. Also, there's another thing. When you start to understand the technical things around you and the software on basic level that happen around you, you're able to find solution or to think of the finding solution, not only that are going to be good and easy for you, but also are going to be good and easy for the person who's going to work on it or have designed this. You start to think about those stuff in the big picture. You start to be definitely better team player, and you start to support your team, you start to support each other. So this is the way how to start to make quite smarter the decision in the design. When I start to understand restriction in the 3D modeling, I was design much better and much smarter the things on the paper or in Photoshops. When I start to understand the size is important for gameplay, from the hiding and jumping, I was able to choose an inspiration and the reference that work better for this. So everything influenced your work. And in the end, like, a bonus things, even on some point, if some of those software and things and knowledge that you grab during working with the others not going to be useful by you in the next project or in another team. Like you're not going to work on this kind of engine because it's going to be a different one. You're not going to completely use the knowledge of the storyboarding or anything stuff. You still have a lot of different kind of skills that give you a flexibility to adapt in the new situation. So you get your professional stability and you're completely resistant for any tech shock storm. You still could be standing quite firm and hold your place, which is quite important when you have this kind of speed that happens around you. So yeah, it's quite useful. And short notes about, just to let you know, guys, about how to plan yourself. Because there was a question, if we have so many different kinds of software and technological things that happen around us, and we as designers, as people wanted to make a plan for ourselves, and decide, for example, in the next 10 years, I'm going to be an art director in this kind of game, working on this kind of project, and I'm going to go strict into it. I will do anything, and I create a list of the things that I have to learn and do, and I'm going to strict into it. This kind of design of yourself in the environment that is constantly changed, it's quite hard, if not impossible. So it's quite easy to go into, well, frustration, and we definitely should avoid it because it's just blocking us and don't give us good inspiration for that. So quick note about it. And because we are talking about self-improvement, I think it's a good moment to talk about how to design, if the AAA games be like living creature, and we try to think about how they were planned and how they look in the end. We have to acknowledge this fact that no AAA game was exactly the same, like they start to design this and how it started to look in the end. During this time, there was always some kind of changes because there happened new technology, there was different of the styles. So AAA games are amazing. They are created for a long time, but they are completely ready for improvement. They're completely ready to use a new potential that happened in the environment. They check in a new solution, and they are ready to change a vision. So think about this kind of points that are used for design those AAA games. And if we are working in the game industry and AAA games are something like, yeah, this is something amazing, maybe some kind of rules we should adapt for design and planning ourselves. Think about that. So if you start to compare those stuff, let's just assume AAA game is like 5+ years, sometimes more. If you are young, we have like 40 years to design ourselves. This is quite a long of time. So if we don't think about the idea to improve ourselves, to adapt ourselves, to be flexible, to make changes, to create for us situation for new solution, to seek some kind of new potential, not just for AAA games, but for us. We start to evolve and grow much better because of the environment of the pop culture that we currently live in. So if you're going to make a plan, make a short plan, check, but be ready to make changes, and those changes always going to be good, and I will tell you why. So take a quick annotation. When we think about to get like perfect professional development, this is usually like a list of the things that we should have, do to be somebody. But if you start to understand that technology, the things, and the needed are changed constantly, you start to understand that we going to move all the time. Our progress in upgrade ourselves, it's going to be a progress. It's going to be a way. It's going to be a road that we have to go through. It's never end. And this is quite horrible when you think that you'll never get the goal. But change your thinking. Try to think about that. If you are currently much better than you were like a year ago, it means that you make improvement. If you are doing the things that you feel that make you much better in the next year that you are currently, it means that you make improvement. And this process of evolution is much better than just get a goal. Because when you have a goal, you stop doing anything. And here, you constantly evolve and constantly change and constantly adapt. And every version of yourself in the next year is going to be much better. So it's not so bad that it's like never-ending, endless improvement process. And this big note, all this kind of cool stuff that happened, those amazing things, those new possibilities, this idea of using mock-up technology for different kind of industry and trying the new jobs and new position and working with the others and learn from the others, it's sounding quite cool, but in the end of the day, we are blocked ourselves. And I talk about it because I also have this kind of thoughts and feelings, and I think, I'm not sure that everyone knows that's happened almost to everybody. It's like completely normal that you block yourself and decide that, no, you have to stop, you cannot go in a different direction that you wish. It's too much. So let's change, and let's talk about a few things that could block you and why should it not block you. The first is like imposter system that happened in the real life, but also like in the professional life, when you simply feel that you don't have enough experience and knowledge, and you're doing the stuff that you shouldn't do, and this is always the thinking that somebody think that you're much better and you're not sure about this completely. So many times when you get like good offer, like new idea, new project, new position, and they feel that you're good enough, in your back of your head is, no, I still not sure because I don't have the whole knowledge, I don't have experience in this position because I never do it, but I don't have experience, why I should choose it, I'm going to be imposter. And this is a normal thinking that we not sure about something, but we have to work with this. We cannot let those kind of feeling block our optional development and evolution. The second thing, quite big, especially when you're much older, is the fear of the lost time. It's something that you start to think about. You're too old to make a change. You invest too much into something to make a change. You're not going to learn a new software because you spend like 10 years learn another, or you're not going to change the type of product and project from, I don't know, from mobile games and to AAA because maybe that will be a not that good decision, and you simply fear that you're going to lose this time for trying something new. So, in the end of the day, because your fear that you fail, you simply do not try new rules, you not try to different projects, even if you're extremely curious about this. You even do not learn a new software. That's why I'm talking about this today, because you worry that you're going to put some time into it, you're going to invest, and this is not going to be used completely in the current company or the new company, and you will simply lose the time. So you do not do it. And in the end, every new option is like, it's too late for any changes. It's too late for trying something. And this extreme feeling that something that we could try and see will be not pay off completely, give us feeling that we are going to lose this 2 years that we are going to invest in something new because we are get a fail in this subject. And this is also happened all the time. People think about it. People don't try because of this fear. And this not always is a good decision. And the third idea, because we are blocking ourselves, is my favorite one, is like the comfort zone. I know you guys are going in a different kind of lecture. We talk with the people, they share with the knowledge that you wanted to learn, you wanted to upgrade yourself, you wanted to be better. But there's also a lot of people who just nope. New software, nope. New engine, nope. I feel good in the moment that I am. I am master the things that I am doing. I put so much time to be great in the spot that I'm currently am, and I simply refuse to learn, to change. It's too much. It's like you have to lose every experience that you have before and start with something new. No, you just decided that you don't want it to go further. You're going to put yourself in a comfort zone when you feel safe and you're amazing, you're good, you're doing amazing work using amazing software, and this is a small box and it's great for a while. But in the end of the day, because you block yourself not only for the things that could happen from the outside, you also block yourself with any interaction with the other, to teach the other, to learn from the other. You stay in this spot, everything go around, and you simply, in the end, going to stay behind. And it's price that you need to be aware if you want to stay too long in this kind of comfort zone. You always have to pay for something like this. So the most important part of this lecture, summary. And here I want to talk about the things that I would love to put in your head, guys, and change your mindset. And tell you that you don't have to be scary of the number of things, technology, and the software that happen around us. The first things is, be ready to constantly upgrade yourself. Learn all the time. Expand your skill set. Be ready to learn yourself, or learn from your team members. Be ready and be okay with this, that you are not able to know everything about everything that happens around us. We are not going to get the whole knowledge about the software, but if you are ready to learn something, we are going to learn this. So if you have this kind of habits to try new things and you're not block yourself, if something you don't know, you're going to learn. It's so easy. You don't have to worry that you don't have some kind of knowledge. And this kind of our level up, as I told you before, is this kind of process when you grow and are much better in every year. So constantly learn, constantly change yourself. The second thing, have a courage. Don't be afraid that you're going to lose any time. Don't be afraid also about the failure. No many people talk about the failure. I know nobody like it. It's normal. But you're aware that no any production and no every designer and creator always win. We also have a failure. Be okay with that. Have the courage to try new things and don't completely worry about subject of the lost time, because every time that you invest in yourself, upgrade your skills to learn, to change, to fit into a new team, to work with a different kind of project, you push yourself and you invested in yourself. This never lost. Another thing is it's quite great to build the knowledge and the skill set quite close to your main vibe. This way you're sure that the things that you learn will be support each other, just in the case. But it's still never the waste time. And the last thing, guys, I know the failure is the painful subject in every subject. Sometimes we are doing something and this doesn't work. Sometimes we try to work with different kind of projects in different kind of companies. Sometimes we work with different kind of teams that doesn't simply, work perfectly, and we fail, and this is painful, and that's why we don't want to try new things. We don't want to try new software. We don't want to do new things. But in the end of the day, the failure always teach us much more than winning, because we start to understand the skills that we have, the things that we work, the things that doesn't work with us. So that's absolutely okay, and this is absolutely cool, and don't worry about it. Just go through it and use those knowledge, not just break yourself, just build yourself. And the last one, my favorite. Don't block yourself because you feel that you have a lack of experience in anything. Because this is like completely paradox. You gain experience during the time. You have to go through something to get this kind of experience. When you start something, like a new project or new position, and you don't know the software you're going to learn, and you don't know the team, this is impossible that you're going to know the whole problems that already happened. And you simply are going to deal with any new problems, when they going to appear. You're going to find solution when you need it. You're going to deal with this kind of subject. This is something that breaks the idea that we cannot try new things because we don't have experience. We should try, we should fail, we should learn. So just do it. And this is a guy's summary. Don't let you make intimidate of the situation of number of this technology, industry, software, things, upgrade that happen around us. Just catch the wave, use this as our new possibility, jump between industry, try new things, upgrade your position, learn from your team members, understand the chain production which is around you. You could just win this, and you could just use this as your advantages. Guys, that's all. It's really short. I will try to stay as much as possible. I thank you so much for your time, and I hope that at some point I slightly change your mindset, and you're going to be much brave and create much more stuff. Do not block yourself, and don't be completely worried about all things that happen around you. Don't be scared. This has just happened. That was an amazing time for me and your experience. Thank you.
We still have 5 minutes for questions, so anybody?
I think that was harsh subject, so they have to go through it and think about it. So just grab me in the hall, and when you have any questions, it's cool. It's cool. You don't have to questions for anything. So
okay, so
there's nobody. Yes.
So thank you.
Thank
for
you.
Your lecture.
Thank you so much.
It was amazing. I feel chilled
Oh,
after
nice.
this the end. So I feel really relaxed. I don't need to push here myself.
Oh.
To do anything. I just can increase with my skills. So thank
Perfect.
you for
Perfect.
that.
I'm happy to hear. This is the main reason. Great. Awesome.
Thank you. But okay, that was the last lecture, so thank you.
Have a nice evening, guys.
Thank you to coming here.